Did you see he did a lid this morning? Again, lid. You know what a lid is? A lid is when you put out word you're not going to be campaigning today. So he does a lid all the time. I'm working my ass off. I'm in Texas. I'm in Ohio.
President Trump calling out Joe Biden last night for calling another lid on his campaign yesterday morning. And we also showed you a Biden campaign calendar. You can add yesterday's date crossed out to that. It's a total of 9 early press lids in the month of September, in case you're keeping track. We are here. In fact, one reporter actually pointed out that Biden has spent fewer hours on the campaign trail than the average U.S. full-time employee works. That's this month. Not good for someone applying for the most demanding job in the world. It's a point she points out for us on Twitter. Tom Borelli is going to join us now, a Newsmax insider and contributor of America's Voice News. Tom, thanks for coming on today. It is interesting to note that Biden's campaign had said yesterday the reason why he called a lid was because he was preparing for the upcoming presidential debate. As we know, he has been in politics for 47 years. How much time does he need to prepare?
Emma, you know, that's the equivalent of the dog ate my homework. That's nothing more than a really bad excuse. I think there's a pattern here. Look, former Vice President Joe Biden was really not on the campaign trail before Labor Day. He's not on the campaign trail after Labor Day, and it's really the peak campaign season. So I think clearly there is something wrong, either physically or mentally wrong with the former vice president. Otherwise, he would be out there trying to keep pace with President Trump, but he can't. So he's choosing to stay in the basement. And I think this is going to be a problem for the Biden campaign because he doesn't have the stamina. And think of it this way. If he was capable, he would get rid of that issue, that challenge that he's not up to it by being on the campaign trail, yet he's not. So he can't dispel that myth. I really think there's something wrong. He doesn't have the stamina, either mentally or physically, and this is the way they're going to be dealing with this campaign.
You could also get some practice in, right, ahead of the debate. If you were answering some questions from some unscripted, unpre-approved journalists out there. Want to talk to you, though, about the timeline leading up to it, and I'll just summarize it here. But basically, the Trump campaign had put together a list of Biden's comments on the debate, showing how much he's kind of flip-flopped on it. In fact, 8/21, he said, I'm prepping. 9/2, September 2nd, he said, I've begun to prepare. September 15th, he says, I haven't been doing mock debates very much, but I've just been making sure that I understand all that he has said, he in regards to President Trump. And 9/23, September 23rd, he said, I've started to prepare, but I haven't gotten into it really heavily. Okay. Tom, he's essentially, you know, he's had some time. We've shown the calendar here about how many days he's called a lid. Again, of course, not being openly out on the campaign trail here. And, you know, it makes you wonder, what is he doing by hiding, right? In the fact that we have so many questions, specifically in regards, at least to the recent news, about the loss of Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg and where he stands on issues that other Democrats have said in regards to packing the court. Would he agree with that? Would he answer any questions? I guess we just don't know.
No, that's a great point, Emma. He's not only hiding, I think it was mental or physical issues, but he's also hiding from the media about, you know, possible really good questions about the Supreme Court justice, about getting rid of the filibuster, packing the court, as you mentioned. But there's other issues as well. Let's not forget about the recently released Senate report on his son, Hunter. And suddenly we find out that Hunter Biden got a $3.5 million check from the wife of a former mayor of Moscow. Russia, right? Russia collusion. So, you know, that's something he doesn't want to answer. We know he got $1.5 billion from China for Hunter's investment fund, and he was getting $50,000 a month from a Ukrainian natural gas company while the vice president was in charge of policy of Ukraine. So he doesn't want to answer those questions. And speaking of new news, then we have the new text and documents regarding what the Department of Justice was doing and the FBI with respect to chasing President Trump on that Russia collusion. We find out that there was an FBI agent who said Mueller went after Michael Flynn because they wanted to get Trump. How clear is that? I mean, this is just outrageous what's been going on with these issues. And then we find out about the Steele dossier. We find out that the FBI knew the main source for the Steele dossier was a suspected Russian spy. They knew that, but yet they still went forward with the FISA applications going after, the individuals in the Trump campaign. These are all issues that he doesn't want to answer because there are no good answers.
Yeah, needless to say, a lot of unanswered questions here. Let's look ahead to tomorrow night. The president is set to release his pick for the Supreme Court justice who would be replacing the late Ruth Bader Ginsburg here. Tom, tell me your thoughts as to who that might be and how quickly the president and the Senate could go forward with confirming her nomination.
Well, first of all, I think it's good that President Trump is going to nominate a woman to replace a woman on the court. That keeps that same, gender balance, so to speak. And whoever the pick is, let's face it, the Democrats are going to go overboard and really try to destroy, the credibility of whichever woman that President Trump chooses. This is the way the Democrats operate. They did it with Kavanaugh, although I think if they really attack a woman, they may be overreaching. And just like when they overreached with the Kavanaugh nomination and hearing, if they do the same thing, it's going to show the American people that the Democrats really don't care about the quality of a person. They only care about power. And they've made that very clear with the idea of now packing the court because they don't have the Senate and they don't have the executive branch.
Not only packing the court, though, we've also learned that they're planning to step forward a new bill that would limit Supreme Court justice term limits, 18 years, which, as we've covered on the show, would be unconstitutional. So it's that you're also dealing with as well. And I mean, we've heard from Speaker Pelosi also mention the idea of potentially considering impeachment as well. It seems like they're really trying to throw anything they can at this president to stop this nomination from happening.
Well, clearly, Emma, they're desperate. They will do everything and anything, including what you just mentioned, changing the rules of the game in order to get what they want. And again, I think this is a huge warning to the American people that if you put Democrats in power, this is what's going to happen. Not only are they thinking about packing the court, but they're thinking about making the District of Columbia a state, Puerto Rico a state. They will just really fundamentally change our system of government. They're losing by the rules that were set up. So now they have to change those rules. Again, I really hope the American people are paying attention because this is a very, very important election.
That is Tom Borelli joining us this morning to weigh in on a variety of questions. Tom, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Have a wonderful weekend.
You too, Emma.
Thanks.